Stupid. Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you from Santa Fe in New Mexico. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling, shake it up Saturday. We've had an awesome day here today. I got to do some practice interviews today, so I got all glammed up. Deglammed later on though. There's something about that mascara stuff that I have on my eyes. It makes my eyes very itchy and watery. I'm going to have to find a different one. I seem to be reacting to that one. I can only wear it for like about an hour or so. So I have to check out some new mascara on that one. But anyway, so working on a new project, and I do need help with it. So this new project, if you look at my Facebook feed, I posted a picture today asking about ethnic food story origins. So like, for example, we have pavlova in New Zealand, which is known as New Zealand's national dessert. It is also known in Australia as their national dessert as well. And there is a story behind that. So the story behind it is that neither New Zealand or Australia actually they both lay claim to the fact that they invented the pavlova. And if you don't know what the pavlova it is this crunch, it has this light, crispy meringue shell, and inside the meringue shell is this light as air, fluffy marshmallow center that literally melts in your mouth. Now, if I've been on cruise ships, I've been in restaurants, and I've seen pavlova on the menu, I'm like, I'm having pavlova. And they come out with a meringue, like something that's about this big, round. I can't do this with one, I can't do it with two hands. So imagine this round, round, and about yay high. That is a meringue. It is not a pavlova. A pavlova is anywhere from 5 to 8 inches across, and usually about this high. Or in some cases, in my case, it's about this high. Sometimes I can get it up to this high, sometimes this high. And it has a marshmallow center. So those little individual pavlovas, they're actually meringues. They are not a pavlova. And I had this discussion with people on cruise ships in the past, with the crew and stuff, saying this is not a pavlova. I said, if you want me to go back and show the chefs how to make one, I'll be happy to do that. And I actually did. And Brad just sat there going, So anyway, so the pavlova, there is claims on the Australian side, claims on the New Zealand side that they were the first ones to invent it. There's many stories going around, but it all revolves around Anna Pavlova, who was a Russian ballerina who was touring New Zealand and Australia in the 1920s. So we're talking about a thing that goes back almost 100 years. This debate has been going on. Both claim that they have bakers, and there's rumors about which bakers they are, that invented this light, fluffy dessert to represent her dancing style, and that the cream that goes on now in New Zealand, that was the story I originally heard, was it was Dunedin baker, and he put the whipped cream on top and decorated it with kiwi fruit and passion fruit to show the patterns on her tutu. Nobody else has said that story. I haven't heard that story from anybody else, but that's the story that I heard. Other stories are sort of like, oh no, we invented it, blah, 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 and just decorated it with fruit. The traditional pavlova I have always grown up with has had slices of kiwi fruit with passion fruit drizzled over top. And that was to represent Anna Pavlova's tutu. According to her biography, it was in New Zealand that she was first introduced to this dessert. So who wrote that? I don't know. But this debate's been going on for almost 100 years. So that's one story behind the pavlova, which is a national dessert in both New Zealand and Australia. So so my question is, what other ethnic foods are out there that have interesting stories of origins? And I don't think I phrased my question very well on my Facebook post thinking back to it. But basically, I'm looking for a country's favorite meal, their traditional meals, and the stories of origin behind them. I'm working on a very special project, which I can't go into right now, but I do need help in sourcing traditional foods and the stories behind the origins. Like I know that there's a Thanksgiving story there somewhere about turkeys for the US. I just have to find it. So if you can help me with that, I would greatly appreciate it. And Toad in the Hole, or whatever other name it's known as, I don't consider that, because I knew about Toads in the Holes in New Zealand. What was the one that came? Boxcar Breakfast, and what was another one? One-Eyed Jack. It's basically, we take a piece of toast, you cut the circle piece out of the middle, you break an egg into it, and you cook the toast and the egg together. Many different names. If you know of a story of some ethnic food and its origin, I would love to hear it. It's a special project that I'm working on that, like I said, I can't say anything about it right now. I just have to do a lot of research on it, which is no problem since I love doing research. I just want to make sure I get things I want to get it as authentic as possible. So any help you can give me with that project, please go to my Facebook page, and on there you will see the post asking for the ethnic food for favorite ethnic foods and their origin stories. So if you have those, I would greatly appreciate it. You can even private message me, that would help too. But so that's one project I got to work on today, besides doing a couple of great interviews today. What else? Oh yes, so our genealogy question is from Sandy, and Sandy says that she is overwhelmed by the information that is out there. What can, help? What do I do? Very easy. Yes, there is a ton of, Kathy Baxter put here, Timbits. Kathy, message me about Timbits, please. She says, purely Canadian. What the hell is walnut whip? I want to know about that one too. Message me, please. They sound interesting. Might have some great stories behind them. Anyway, so Sandy's question is that she is overwhelmed by the amount of information that is out there. What can she do to stop feeling so overwhelmed? Well, one of the things that most people will find when they first start doing genealogy, and me 30 plus years later still get this overwhelmed sensation. It's sort of like, oh, I found my thread, and I start pulling it gently, and all of a sudden this information just goes boom. You have to concentrate on one person at a time. Yes, there is a bunch of information out there. If you were watching yesterday's one, we're talking about the different documentations. That's where the resource sheet comes in handy, and you write down the different resources as a to-do list to go back and investigate later on, and why you want to go back and investigate those later on. Concentrate on one person at a time and do an in-depth search on that person. Yes, it is a lot of hard work. Yes, you can get overwhelmed with the stuff that's out there, but if you take one person at a time instead of trying to concentrate on an entire family, it will make it so much easier. And you just keep record notes when you come across somebody else with that same last name. Keep detailed notes, and then you've got your to-do list that you can go down. Yes, you may also have the same name that you're researching. They may come up in multiple locations, and you go, oh, where do I start? I don't want to go off this page, and you're clicking those links that say open in a new tab, and sometimes you just might accidentally click on that tab, and you're like, I've lost that page. Detailed notes. Write them down. Write down the website that they were on, what the name of the person was, so that you can go back to them later on, so you're not losing that track. But try and concentrate on one person with one theme at a time. It does help lessen the thing. Beaver tails. I love beaver tails. So people are messaging me. Beaver tails, they are awesome. I don't even know what they're made of, but they're really good. I had one at Epcot Centre, and I had one in Victoria, British Columbia. In fact, one just August last year. Yum. Was got to introduce my parents to beaver tails last year. And then there were elephant ears in Alaska that I had May of last year. Those were really good too. March 2018. Yeah. I had my very first elephant ear. That was really cool. Gotta find the recipe for that one, because I wouldn't mind trying that one again. But I have to have a fryer, and I don't want to do deep frying in the RV. But anyway, so back to overwhelm. So see what I mean? Distractions. Yes, you will get those when you're doing genealogy. It's like, oh, they're mentioned over here. Let's go over here and look at that. Oh, they're over here. And yes, stay on track. Take notes about where you saw other information so you can go back to it later on. I have pages. I have books. I use composition books, usually spiral books, because because sometimes I'm in areas where space is limited, so I use the spiral bound one so I can quickly flip the pages under and just have the one page facing. Sometimes it's spiral across top, sometimes down the side. It's a spiral notebook of some sort. I have notebooks full of things to go back, of to-do lists, and I've got them checked off. When monkey brains in Egypt, oh God, no. Ugh. Oh, I read a book one time about an air steward who used to smuggle drugs. And that was one of the things they did in, I think it was Thailand. Can't remember where it was, but they had a hole in the middle of the table where they would fasten the monkey underneath and have the monkey's head poking up so they could eat. Yeah, reading the description of it grossed me out. So B, thank you for the reminder of that image I have in my head from reading it in a book. So back to our overwhelm with things. So yeah, I have notebooks that have pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of notes with the person's name at the top, and then all the resources that I want to go back and check later. Yes, some of them have been crossed off, some of them haven't been crossed off, but it is a way. You're forgiven, B. You're forgiven. It is a way to keep track of what places you have been, what places you haven't been, what you've got to go back and have a look at. Sometimes you don't need to go back and research those spots, because the answer will come to you somewhere later down the track when you're researching something else. You'll find that answer. It's like, yay, I found that answer. So when you go back to the research, it's like, nope, don't need. And you just make a notation next to it, discovered when researching, blah, 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 blah. So that when you're going back through what you need to research, and trust me, when you get to a tree that has over 7,700 people in it, having notes like that helps. Because if I go back and I go, okay, I need to go look at that person, I'll go through my notebooks to find that person. And I am keeping the first couple of pages empty, because I want to write the person's name in there and what pages they are on, so I can just go down the first couple of pages, find that name, go to that page, and have a look at the resources that on my to-do list to research for that person. Things like Evernote is great for sorting things out as well, because I'm able to keep stuff in there under the person's name, and sometimes I will go back and type the resources in there, or I'll copy and paste the resources into an Evernote thing. So I file everybody by name under that one. So you might have, like, John Eakins, when I had to do 181 of those, although Evernote was not around at that time, it was pen and paper. 181 John Eakins as I had to go through to find the one that fitted my tree. It took me 3 years, just to give you some idea. Genealogy takes time, especially when you're back to your fourth great-grandfather. There's not a lot of records available, so you got to go look. And there's only 5% of all records. 5% of all available genealogy records out there are actually online. Think about that. There's millions of records available online, and it only represents 5% of all the records available. So, and keeping notes too of places that you're going to have to go and research, like what parishes are you going to have to go to, what states are you going to have to go to look at their courthouse records. Keeping notes like that as well, and having something like Evernote, which is one that I use a lot. I put the person's name at the top of that note, and everything I find out about that person or place, I have one with it. I have like John Eakins to-do list, and then I might have a John Eakins information list. So this is the information that I found out, and I can actually go back and use that information to fill in the gaps in the family tree. So, and if I'm not sure about the person, I will actually put their name, what information I have found out there. Some I have a birth date and year up the top there, and put their possible next to their name, meaning that they're the possible person that could fit in the tree, and keep detailed notes on everything I find researching that one person. You never know. I may go back and find where he connects into the tree, where that one connects into the tree at a later date, because it may not be the one I'm actually looking for at the time, but I may find he has a connection somewhere else along a sideline somewhere. So just keep detailed notes, make a to-do list. Don't feel like you got to go through every site that's there. Just take a note of the website and the name search that you were doing at the time. Keep something like Evernote. Like I said, I use Evernote because it syncs with my phone, it syncs with my computer, it's all there in the cloud. I still keep pen and paper notes as well. That's my backup. And just keep detailed notes about where you are going and what you are doing and what you're looking at, so that you can go back. If you go back through your records, you go, oh yeah, I've already checked that website, or I've already checked those records, or I've been to that place and checked that out. And you keep the notes next to, just leave spaces between the notes so you can put notes about the notes in there. So I hope that helps some. It's just concentrate on one person at a time and one thing at a time. If you're looking for a birth record, go looking for a birth record. If you find a marriage certificate that may be that same person, take a note of it and go back and check it out later. But just keep on that one train, one thought, one idea, just keep it going. Not like this Facebook Live where I've been answering questions about food and all of that sort of thing in between doing genealogy. Somebody wants to know where Zeffie is? She's right there. Say hi, Zeffie. You want to say hi? No. She's waiting for her evening walk, so we're going to go do that now. yeah, so if you're looking for birth certificates or birth records, go through looking for birth records. Remember to attach baptismal records there as well, because sometimes you may not find a birth record, but you may find the baptismal record, which will have the birth date on there. Well, in most cases has the birth date on there. And then from there you can then go to census reports, and from there to marriage certificates. So have a plan of attack when you're looking for somebody. When you're searching on the genealogy stuff, have a plan. Start with what you know and take it from there, just one step at a time. Okay, so I hope that helps answer your question, Sandy. Sorry about the sidetracks into monkey brains and beaver tails and walnut whip and timbits, whatever that was. Have an awesome evening, everyone. We're going to go for our walk, so have a super fantastic, sparkling rest of your Shake It Up Saturday, and we will catch you guys tomorrow for Serenity Sundays. He konera.